You love singing, right?
Welcome back to You're Not Gonna Like This. This is episode 46, the restrictiveness of childhood education. I chose this topic because I feel as if, when you graduate high school, you don't have the applicable life skills to succeed in life immediately or, as fast as you would need to, being that the world doesn't really wait for you. As soon as you graduate high school, it's like get a job, go to the military, go to college. You got three options, and you just got to get it how you live from there. And that's not perfectly okay. I feel like 18, it's a good age to really start and figure out what you need to really do in your life. But to not have the skills you need is pretty bad. But nonetheless, Tylic.
Oh, all right. I'm Tylic Vaughan, you know what I'm saying? I'm the local health and physical ed teacher. I went to Virginia State University. I got my major in health and physical education and my minor in education. So, there's a whole lot of things that we don't know about, we don't talk about as a collective whole when it comes to the education system and how it's ran and the people, it's supposed to get to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate y'all having me.
Well, you fit the topic perfectly, being that you are an actual teacher. You actually know the ins and outs of what really goes on in the education system more than what we would know.
Yeah, dirty game, man.
Yeah, it is. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first thing we're hitting on here is the lack of financial skills or no financial skills. And this is the first piece because when you get out of school, everybody in high school took the economics and personal finance class. We all had to take it, but it didn't really teach you enough what you really need to know. Like, besides me learning on the computer in that class, I learned everything from my mom. My mom really taught me how to budget, how to understand credit, like all that stuff you need to actually get where you want to go in life is extremely important. Like, it blew my mind because I didn't know this until when I first started looking for an apartment. I did not know that you had to have credit to have these things. Now I'm totally against it. I hate that I got to owe money to actually get stuff. Shout out Ronald Reagan. Don't agree with that at all. But it's just a lot of things like budgeting, investing, since that has really hit the forefront as of late, and all the other things that come with managing money. So, Tylee, first question for you is, man, what are the main financial skills you would want to see kids taught as they get ready to enter the real world?
First of all, if we're going to speak on the kids, you can speak on this as adults too, but kids in general, they got to know the true value of money. First and foremost, you got to just know what money is, what it does, what's the principle behind having money, period. All right, so that, of course, I was raised in a single parent home. I was more of a low income type of individual, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. So, I really had to learn those type of things just on the fly and on the go. Like, I didn't even have an economic class in high school. So the kids got to know the true value of money, the difference between spending money and investing money. Why is money important? Because you got to make sure these kids, if you want them to learn something, you got to throw out real life scenarios, like especially about money, because the Black community, we really don't. We behind on the financial literacy. So are you just talking about kids in general, or kids in general should know, but we got to aim at the people who has the less knowledge, and majority of the time that's our people. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure everybody right here, Black or a person of color, and you know how we are in the financial world. So that's my answer with the financial piece for the kids.
Probably go. I would touch on what Tylic said. Growing up, right, I come from a low income family, low income mom, single parent home, and I knew my mom had hustled. So it was never really a fact of like, I knew my mom was making money. I knew my mom was doing things, to feed on to have cup on the table. But it was things like I had to learn as our own. And having different mentors in my life. I think that's one thing I appreciate enough is having mentors in my life to where, okay, as a kid and in schools, you know, we don't learn about credit. We don't learn about investing, and we don't learn about a lot of things that we need, because, you know, it's crazy because a lot of people, even being on a social media aspect and how social media is so big, we hear a lot of people say, oh, I don't save money. I don't even have credit. And, you know, we should have those type of things, because that's how, like, we get lost in the race. Like, we're so behind on like a lot of things. And, you know, for our younger generation that's coming up, not people our age, but people, they should have those things. And, you know, it starts with us, right? It starts with us, because we're now at the forefront of all this information, and our parents are, you know, they're starting to get used to it. But it's things like us learning financial literacy, learning about credit, learning about taxes, and it's so much. I preach free resources all the time. Like, they might not push that stuff in school, and it's for exact reason. And I know Tylic definitely will be able to touch on that. It's an exact reason as to why we don't learn those type of things in school. And I think for me personally, I think is because they understand, because some people they understand, like, some people don't go to school because they want to go to school, it's because they have to go to school. And, you know, being a college graduate, I can tell you straight up, like, it's hard trying to get your foot in the door. Like, it's hard trying to get your foot in the door, and people think, oh yeah, after you graduate college, the thing is, oh, you're gonna get a job. No, I'm gonna be real. I was out of a job for 2 years, but I at least had the knowledge of, okay, I know about credit, I know about financial, I know about investing. So I just have to use the knowledge that I know and continue to gain knowledge to, okay, money is still coming in. But for some people, it's, I gotta graduate, I gotta go work a job I don't like until something comes in. And that's kind of like bad. It's bad it's bad, because it's like, well, damn, I'm $30,000 deep in loans, and I don't, what is this point? Like, what is the point? I'm sitting around 2-3 years without a job, and that's kind of crazy to me. Like, I hate it. Like, I look at every time I open up my app, I'm like, yo, this is a lot of debt I gotta pay back, and I'm only 23, but it's like time is just running like that. So it's certain things like credit, investing, and all things like these kids can know now, because guess what? If these kids know that stuff now, they can make it on their own. Like, yo, do I have to go to a traditional 4-year college, or guess what? Could I go to smart route? Cool. Let me go to a 2-year college, or let me go to a trade school, learn a trade, so that way I'm not in debt. And that's one thing my teachers taught to me, because I didn't take economics or finance, but that was an option given to me. But I wanted the experience of a 4-year college, and that's something that, you know, those type of things that we gotta have those conversations, because everybody think, yo, 4-year college is lit, but when you look back on it, it's like, damn, I'm $30,000-$40,000 in debt, and I could have went to save money. So just those type of things are things that we're not taught as much, and it's not talked about as much. But, you know, having those conversations is like a starting point as to where, you know, we can go.
Before PJ and Malcolm go though, I really like the community college thing. That's really important. You know, community college, I feel like, you know, everybody, if you don't want to go to a 4-year community college, is the way to go, man. Save that extra money, please, because that room and board hurts. It hurts. It's not it. Not it at all. So, like, if you don't know what you want to major in, and you don't have a full understanding of, like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, save your money, go to community college, because 9 out of 10, depending on how your income or how your parents make money, financial aid more than likely is going to cover it, because you're only paying for classes at that point. You're not paying for anything else, no amenities, nothing like that. Still got to pay for the books though, but, you know, it covers basically most of your education.
Hey, can I say one more thing before? I don't want to cut nobody off. You know, I just want to speak on one topic that you just said.
Go ahead. You good.
First, we gotta, when it comes to the kids anyway, we gotta change the stigmatism of, you know, the way society thinks. You know what I'm saying? If you've been going to school all your life, like, I'm gonna speak for myself. I went to Prince Edward County public schools all my life. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, you know, being the black sheep, because I was definitely the black sheep in the class in this period. I always thought like I had to go to a 4-year college to be successful. You know, we got to stop feeding that to the kids. Like, you have to go, like y'all said, you have to go to a 4-year college. Granted, my man's Brooks, I ain't gonna cap to you, man. That depth ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about, am I looking at it as debt, or am I looking at it as an investment? No, it's all about your perspective. Because me, I'm 40K in debt. I'm right there with you, my brother. No cap. But the things I learned, which was those things that I could not learn in a public school. You know what I'm saying? I learned financial literacy in college, not even with no financial literacy literal class. It was just like me hustling every day. I'm a full-blown hustler. Like, I had to pay for my own fees, you know what I'm saying? Like, graduation fees. I have no job. I went every semester, tried to get a job, you know, suit and tie and shit, you know, excuse my language. It did not work for me. So while I was out at Virginia State, my mental about money and credit changed because I was in complete survival mode. You know how I'm gonna survive. But financial literacy, how you received it, what are you used to, and traumatized by the society and the school system, not teaching you, you know, the ins and outs. So yeah, we can't even just push college, period. We gotta push the hustler's mentality. You know what I'm saying? Because if you already got the knowledge, if you good with numbers or you know about credit, because I don't have no paperwork on credit. I'm not the best, but I've shot my credit score up from a 520 to a 710 in a year. You know what I'm saying? That's self-taught. That was self-taught. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to a class. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and then I'm an entrepreneur at heart. We don't teach our kids how to be entrepreneurs. The school system is meant for you to be a worker all your life. You know what I'm saying? That's what the school system is teaching us. Be a worker. You know what I'm saying? Now we're gonna be entrepreneurs, we're gonna own our own business, we'll go teach ourselves because y'all not proactive enough to put my people, kids, period, but our people. I'm just saying, look at the relationship we got right now, just by skin tone. We in the back. Due to the school system or part of it, you know what I'm saying? But that's my little spill on that. My bad, fellas.
Tylic and Vaughan both. I know both of y'all have said very valuable things, and I graduated from my undergrad a year early because of money issues. But I'm also in a master's program too. And I think, and the thing I'm learning about education, it's not necessarily. Information is valuable. I think that's one of the most underrated things that we do have. But the people that you meet in college is probably the connections that you make. You pledged, Tylic, you pledged? Did you pledge at Virginia State?
No, I actually didn't pledge, but I was a part of an organization called 3M Society, Male Teachers Motor Minds. It was like that.
Okay.
Networking. You talking about networking, man.
That's
that's
hey, what that I think that's the beauty of higher education right there, because you meet people you would never, you stay in your whole hometown, high school, whatever the case may be. Those are the people you're gonna be with. That's nothing wrong with that. But once you start branching with people, oh, I know him. Yeah, we did that back in undergrad and everything. You make connections, you meet people, and I think that's the golden ticket right there if we're looking at it. But like I said, undergrad, master's degree, I know what y'all saying about them student loans, man. But like those connections that you can make, I'm telling you, people, that you could just have a conversation with one person and that could change your whole life. That's just real right there. Yeah.
So I was actually in the process of going to get my master's, but I knew and I knew somebody who texted me I had a conversation with someone who works in higher education at UMD. And he said, at the end of the day, you may not like college, you may not like the class you're taking, but you got to look at it as a social capitalism thing. Understand that the people that you know are going to help you get to where you want to go. I know we have a lot of I hear a lot of people, yo, I don't talk to this person, I don't talk to this person, I don't talk to that person, but they don't understand that person that you don't talk to may be the person that might know somebody that can help you. I have a friend and he told me about somebody. I'm gonna be real. I sit on LinkedIn for the 3-4 months. I was on LinkedIn all the time, just messaging people. I was like, yo, I gotta find a way to get into my field somehow, some way. And I knew somebody who knew somebody, and he got me in contact with that person. And that's how I got what I got at UMD just now. I had an interview. And I tell people yo, whatever you do is all about networking. Cause yes, I'm gonna be real, yes, these jobs, they will look at your experience, but it's hard to kind of get your foot in the door if you don't know nobody. And I think that's kind of like a hard fact and a hard reality that most people don't want to take. Most people don't want to take. Is like, yeah, like, and like Tylic said, I look at it now, like, yeah, now I look at it as like, okay, college was an investment because now I'm starting to get into the field that I want. It may have took me a year and a half, 2 years, but I know eventually, like, those loans and all that's gonna come off because it's really about who you know. And I tell people all the time, like, now this is the time, like, college, like your first day of college is like the day where you want to start networking because there's so many relationships that pass us by each and every day that we don't take advantage of. And I realized, like, that's something I messed up on, was like I didn't talk to enough people. So once I graduated, I started talking to more people heavy, like that I graduated with, and people that I just go on LinkedIn with. And I think that's something that's not pushed as often, and something that we really got to get in, like, yo, network, because we're living in a social capitalism world. And if you don't have those relationships or that network, it's going to be hard to even get your foot in the door. And sometimes the experience may take over, but in reality, it's about who you know, who can help you get into the door.
Yeah.
So I was actually in the process of going to get my master's, but I knew, like, and I knew somebody who texted me, like, yo, like, I had a conversation with someone who works in higher education at UMD, and he said, at the end of the day, like, you may not like college, you may not like the class you're taking, but we're you got to look at it as like a social capitalism thing. Understand that the people that you know are going to help you get to where you want to go. Like, I know we have a lot of, I hear a lot of people, yo, I don't talk to this person, I don't talk to this person, I don't talk to that person, but they don't understand that that person that you don't talk to may be the person that might know somebody that can help you. Like, I have a friend and he told me about somebody. I'm gonna be real, I sit on LinkedIn, like, for the like 3-4 months. I was on LinkedIn all the time, just messaging people. I was like, yo, I gotta find a way to get into my field somehow, some way. And I knew somebody who knew somebody, and he got me in contact with that person. And that's how I got what I got at UMD just now. Like, I had an interview, and I told people, like, yo, like, whatever you do is all about networking. Because yes, I'm gonna be real, like, yes, these jobs, they will look at your experience, but it's hard to kind of get your foot in the door if you don't know nobody. And I think that's kind of like a hard fact and a hard reality that most people don't want to take. Most people don't want to take. Is like, yeah, like, and like Tylic said, I look at it now, like, yeah, now I look at it as like, okay, college was an investment because now I'm starting to get into the field that I want. It may have took me a year and a half, 2 years, but I know eventually, like, those loans and all that's gonna come off because it's really about who you know. And I tell people all the time, like, now this is the time, like, college, like your first day of college is like the day where you want to start networking because there's so many relationships that pass us by each and every day that we don't take advantage of. And I realized, like, that's something I messed up on, was like I didn't talk to enough people. So once I graduated, I started talking to more people heavy, like, that I graduated with, and people that I just go on LinkedIn with. And I think that's something that's not pushed as often, and something that we really got to get in, like, yo, network, because we're living in a social capitalism world. And if you don't have those relationships or that network, it's going to be hard to even get your foot in the door. And sometimes the experience may take over, but in reality, it's about who you know, who can help you get into the door.
No, I definitely agree with that. You know, being in the sports management field with Vontae, I mean, that's something they taught us all the time. Is like, you got to network. They told us, like, that's basically the most important thing is networking, and that's in every field, honestly. And that's unfortunately we'll never learn that in high school and middle school and things of that nature, unfortunately. So, I just think that, you know, unfortunately, as like the Black community, like, we don't really know, like, the value that money actually has. I feel like we often spend a lot of money on, like, frivolous things. You know, even though we don't have the money, we'll be quick to spend it on, you know, something that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I think that, like, I feel like at the end of the day, the school system right now, as currently constructed, it's not really built for the Black community to succeed. At the end of the day, that's why they don't teach us nothing, because they know that at the end of the day, all the white kids, they probably have parents that already got the bread and is already teaching them all that stuff. And at the end of the day, we got to come together and learn all that financial literacy stuff on our own. I really like the point you made about community college. Like, sometimes I wish I would have took that route because it would have saved me a lot of money. You know, you don't really think about that until you get to college and you realize, you know, what am I actually spending my money on? What are we spending this 30 grand on? Room, board, all this stuff. And we could have learned the same thing at community college, or even done a trade. You know, there's a lot of times where I thought about, like, hey, I should have gone to trade school, because trade school could lead to a lot of other routes, such as starting your own business. You know, if you become a mechanic, starting your own garage, stuff of that nature. Like you just learning things to make money. And at the end of the day, it's like, it's sad that we don't learn that in school, because those economic courses that I was talking about, like at the end of the day, they're just teaching us definitions. They're not teaching us, you know, how important it is to, you know, have good credit, things of that nature. They're just teaching us what it means. So we can say we took these courses and things of that nature, but they're not really teaching us what we need to know. So yeah, I just wish, like, you know, I wish as a community, as the Black community, we would emphasize the importance of financial literacy a bit more in our, not only in our school system, but in the community as well. You know, you see a lot of programs that, you know, are trying to teach kids these things, and you know, are trying to reach out to parents about the importance of teaching their kids these things. But, you know, like I said, as presently constructed, I don't think the current school system is really there, you know, to help Black people understand how important money is, and the real value of money, and the real value of the dollar, and doing different things with your money, investing, things of that nature. So that's on us to come together and try to, you know, change the stigma around money as a Black community.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, I did want to say one more thing. I was giving you props. I was like, that's a bar. You know what I'm saying? That's some gems you just dropped. And something I noticed about what everybody else said, my brother, the start off question was, what are some of the pieces missing in the financial literacy, like on financial literacy or the financial world? I heard all of y'all say something about network, man. Network. The school don't teach us how to, public school, or even on a private school. I ain't never been to a private school, so I ain't about to sit here and cap like I know. I'm just speaking off straight blown like experience. You know what I'm saying? They didn't teach me how to talk about money. How I'm gonna talk about something I know nothing about, really. You know what I'm saying? To another extent, we got to get off that. Me, I had like a little, I'm not gonna say a street hustle. I got a street hustle mentality. You know what I'm saying? I was raised single parent. I went to public school. My father did 14 years in the penitentiary, all together, because he sold narcotics, but his spirit was a hustler's spirit. You know what I'm saying? He had to learn it in the street. You know, the hard way, the rough way, kind of the wrong way, same concept. That's why they say, man, you know, corporate America in the streets have so much of a balance when it comes to finances. You know what I'm saying? We're not learning it on like credit. They don't teach us about credit. You a street hustler, you don't have credit. You got paper cash. You know what I'm saying? But when you in the street, you gotta learn, you gotta know how to talk to your customers. You gotta know how to sell your product. You know what I'm saying? Corporate America, it don't even matter what it is, just real estate, college, just day-to-day, you know, financial, you know, situation. You just gotta know how to talk to people, talk to people, you know, sell yourself. So networking is a big piece, man. We just talk about what America, you know, the stuff that not gonna have us being productive citizens, bro. Just workers. So man, that network piece is yeah. And in high school, middle school, even up to college, I hated talking. I hated speaking. Why? Because I was never taught. It's just a whole brand new world. Just drop me off and, you know, just say defend for yourself. And even if they did teach us in school, you know, you got to put that stuff in motion. Knowledge is nothing but dead knowledge if it's not applied. You know what I'm saying? You gotta spend that and invest that money, take those L's, you know, watch your credit jump all up and down until you find out what's going on. You know, it's hard knock life over here for us. You know what I'm saying? Get it out the mud. No privilege. You know, so yeah, networking is very, very, very important. My bad. I can talk about this stuff all day. This is all I talk about, bro. So if I get long with this, like cut it, bro. Shit. We moving on.
You good. I'd rather have somebody that creates conversation. Creating conversation is the whole purpose of what we got going on here. But yeah, that financial literacy is like something I learned on by myself too. Like, I think the best decision I ever made for myself in college was moving to apartment style housing. Man, I learned how to budget so well, knew exactly what to expect every 2 weeks when your paychecks come in, how to allocate your money for your groceries, your gas, all that great stuff. Man, I think that's the best decision I've ever made. because it just taught me so much. You know, at first, when I first did it, you know, I ain't gonna lie, it was rough out here, man. You know, we won't spend a lot at the grocery store. But then eventually, after about a year of doing it, oh yeah, I was starting to get the hang of it, you know, starting to actually, you know, be able to spend and things like that. And now, you know, back at square one, because, you know, I just moved to an apartment and things like that. Like, back at square one, you know, we can't really ball out like we used to, you know, rent's no joke. Not gonna lie, rent's no joke out here. But rent's no joke. But
you said start over, right? I think
yeah,
you said you had to
basically.
start over.
But I'm not starting
That's
off
a
from
bar.
square one. I'm not starting from square one because I've been here before, you know,
Right.
nickel and diming for grocery, gas, and things like that. So I've been here before. But, you know, it's like this time it's rent. Like, rent no joke. Like, that's
So the more money you spend and invest, that means the level of intensity of your financial choices and decisions go up again. So every time you elevate, you will have to your game will have to be better. But man, sometimes you got to start over. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you got to start over and over. That's something they don't teach us, man. Because when you trying to be financially free, you know how many mistakes you gonna make. You know how many bad investments you gonna make before you master this, man. They don't teach us, you know, that man, it's gonna take time. But due to our upbringing and what we come from, period, we already built like for the struggle anyway. To me, that's how I feel. And that's something, wealth, there's no person who has developed wealth in one day, or, you know, 1 year, 2 years, wealth, real wealth. You got to start over, man. You got to start over sometime.
Throw out some interesting stats out there. Hey, remember, Bill Gates, Microsoft Word, started in a college dorm. Didn't start overnight. Jeff Bezos worked on Wall Street. That didn't happen overnight either. And it's probably many more people too. You know, if you want to use an athlete as that's a common role model, you can use them too, because getting to the NBA, NFL, MLB, whatever league you choose, don't happen overnight. MLB is a perfect example. You know, some of the like MLB, them players be great, but they got to start at AAA, then AA, no, or single, double, and triple, however it goes. I'm not familiar with baseball. They got to start from the bottom and crawl all the way back to get to the MLB, because people think when you get drafted to the Major League Baseball, you automatically on the team. No, that's not true. And, you know, a lot of people fall out when they have to climb those affiliate leagues to get to the MLB. That's why you get guys like Aaron Judge when he came on the scene. He was like 28 as a rookie. Like, it take a while to climb to the top. It takes a while, and, you know, making mistakes along the way, having to, you know, start over. It's good, because I could look at me starting over, having to going back to nickel and diming what I was doing before as a bad thing. But no, it's a good thing, because, you know, I taught myself and I was able to upgrade to, you know, do what I want to do, stay in the area I want to stay at. Now we got to start back over, get it back online. And then when it's time to, you know, move to an actual house this time, we're going to be back at square one. Then we're going to figure it all out. But, you
Square
know,
one on a better level. You know what I'm saying?
that's the best way to look at it. Square one on a better level. Yeah. Just going from better living area to better living area, and just giving yourself more of a chance to succeed and actually, you know, make something of your life. Because, you know, as Drake said almost 12 years ago, you only live once. So you just gotta do what you gotta do. But
and that's important too, because the way you going, like you said, you starting over, but at the end of the day, you still learning. You young, you got your own spot, you budgeting, you doing everything you got to do. You can pass that on to the next generation. Whenever you have kids, pass it on to them. Teach them how to be financially literate. You feel me? Then they pass it on. And that's how, you know, as a whole, we all become financially literate, because at the end of the day, everything that we do is going to have an impact on the next generation. So, I mean, it's good that, you know, you doing what you're doing, and you know, everybody else, Vontae with the networking piece, and, you know, Tylic with his knowledge. And at the end of the day, everything we doing now is going to go to the next generation. So, like, that's very important that, you know, we all know what it is that, you know, we want to do with our money, you know, how to save, how to budget. And yeah, man, like I said, it's just important that our community, we do it ourselves. Because at the end of the day, like I said, the school system is not teaching us And at the end of the day, university is not teaching us for real. So that, like I said, that's important.
Yeah, the attention to detail. Yeah, the attention to detail is gonna be now you good. The attention to details like is important because I'm coming from college, a college graduate. Like the attention to detail that you gotta have when it comes to different types of things. It's just it's crazy. It's like, okay, I really need to know exactly where things are going in. And even like with jobs and networking, it's really about the detail. Like it's like hearing, talking to hiring managers and people who work in these type, like in higher education, it's really the mindset. And I think one thing is that, we got to see more people like us in the education system. That's something that people don't talk about as much, but there's not many people that look like us that's in the education system that knows what they're doing. So that's one thing that, sooner or later I'm gonna be able to get people in the education system that look like us. And because there's so many different routes, people can go to get to where they want to go. Like I think most people think, oh, I got to go this route to get here. But in reality, I found different ways. There's different ways you can go to get to where you want to go. And we see more people like us in the education system. Guess what? It's going to change the game for a lot of people coming after. And I think that's something that I think we'll see one day. It starts with us, giving that. And because I think most people think that, oh, I can only go this route. I can go here. I can just do this and this. But there's so many routes you can go to get to where you want to go eventually.
So, fact. Piggyback off that. What is the education system? Period. The way I think about the education system, period, I'm thinking about, in school and out of school. Because, man, 50 Cent said, man, you get as far as the person you talk to for no reason. You get far as the people you talk to for no reason, meaning outside of, bro, you can get education anywhere, you know what I'm saying? And people, I'm a college grad, bro. I don't even be throwing it out there because I don't want to, I don't throw it out there much. But when I have to, when I speak about financial, literacy and stuff like that, I don't want to make the person who don't have a college degree feel like they can't learn from me or I can't learn from them, because you can learn from anybody. 100%. So education, what is education? People so stuck in that
system.
In that system, they like institutionalized. But I mean, that's the majority. It's just you've been taught this all your life. And now just like, boom, you get in the real world, you like, man, what the fuck? Bro, like, y'all ain't get me ready for nothing. Like, I could have been out here in the street asking somebody who know what some people, bro. I was talking to my mother earlier, like literally before I came here. I was like, bro, paperwork does not. It's said that you have to have paperwork for you to be stamped at doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge. Some people don't have a degree. Some people don't have a high school diploma, but they know how to handle their money. Yeah, they know. So what is education? We mixed up on this educational stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to financial literacy, we can't even take that route. Depending on public school, private school, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. Depending on them, for us to be wealthy, not workers, but wealthy, ownership, you know what I'm saying, generational wealth, man, we can't depend on those school system. And it's a teacher you talking to. So I ain't capping off nothing. So again, what is education? This all no cap.
Yeah, and I've learned that, being in the personal training, kinesiology field, having a degree.
Shout out to kinesiology, baby.
Yeah, having a degree is cool, and I have about to have one. So it's like, it's cool, you got the knowledge, you know what you're doing. But in order to actually make it in the profession, you got to pass the certification test. And the certification test is what really kind of gets you where you want to get going. And then even if you have that, personal training is still a business where you got to talk to people. You got to understand how to relate with people. Something a book can't teach you. The book can't, and I learned this on my internship, because I did a program and, I did it by the book. And they was like, this is good. And it's, it's well written, it's well versed, but it's not applicable to all facets of exercise because it's so
Where did your internship at?
I did it in Maryland, Sarge Athletics, someplace in about Maryland. It's about an hour, Frederick, way out there.
Y'all smell the next topic? I just picked up on what you said. Y'all smell the next topic? I'll smell the next topic.
No.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm smelling though. Why standardized tests? That's what I'm smelling right now. Going off what you saying, Mr. Walker. Why standardized tests? I know this. It gotta be down.
I got
You put it out there, bro. We might as well go ahead, nip that right now.
I got some. I got some for that.
I know you got a bar, man.
Because standardized tests, I've always hated standardized tests. You know, when I was in middle school, I didn't pass a couple of my standardized tests. So, like from middle school to I was like in 5th grade to 12th grade, I was never in like honors classes. I was always in general classes, and I could never get to an advanced class because I had never passed a standardized test. So my mom always feared that school got too easy for me. And in fact, it eventually did because I just started picking up everything because it became too easy. So then it was like standardized test not a fair measurement of how intelligent you really are. Like because I get a 1,000 on my SAT score does not mean I don't have the skill or the intellect to succeed in the real world. It's just I can't do what is on the test. Like, and my mom always tells me about. She's like, but it's applicable in a lot of things, like algebra and geometry and all that. It's applicable in a lot of things. Like, okay, algebra, I get you. To this day, I still be out here using 2-step equations, not even thinking about it. But geometry, I don't use it at all. I ain't never, ever used a proof of a triangle in anything I did in the last 5 years of my life. I ain't never did it. And to have to do that on the SAT is ridiculous. To have to do slope on the SAT, ridiculous. Never have did it. Never have did it. But the SAT was solely created to prevent minorities from getting to secondary education. You can look it up on Google. Definitely there.
Come on,
and
man.
that's why that test was created, because the school to prison pipeline system is real. Because they teach you to only be a worker, why you got to take these benchmark tests and all these extraordinary tests that don't mean anything, it's mind-blowing. Because I remember in 11th grade, our U.S. teacher, Mr. Lane, he used to always wonder why we were always so focused on just passing the SOL. It doesn't make sense. It don't make sense. But the way Virginia works is you can get an A in the class, but if you don't pass the SOL test, you got to take the class again.
Right, and you said those
tests.
What's the reward? To keep us out of the loop. Hey, let's go all the way back to slavery, or not even slavery, when it was, society still look at us as, savages. I would say a word, but I ain't gonna say it on your podcast with all due respect. But if I could be raw, I'm gonna be raw. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Back when, even for us to vote as people of color, they said, okay, I'm gonna let y'all vote, but you gotta pass this test. You didn't teach us how to read, you didn't teach us how to write. If we did that, we was getting beat, hung, and all of this. So to piggyback off what you say, a standardized test is not, you know what I'm saying? We had to take a test, and majority of the Black people failed, so we couldn't vote because of a test. A test. We had the knowledge, the common sense, because I don't have a piece of paper. That means, I can't be certified. I ain't rocking with that for real, man, because my whole lot of my friends, they didn't go to college. Some of them ain't graduate high school. You know what I'm saying? Some people been in the street. These my people. Some of these people been in the street all their life. You know what I'm saying? And some of the most educated people I've ever met in my life, I can put them in a room with anybody. Anybody. And you can say, where your paperwork at? That's why I always introduce myself verbally first. I ain't gonna tell you what I got. I'm not gonna tell you my credentials. Let me go ahead and test your knowledge to see if you can hang with me. Or do you feel like I can hang with you? Because I definitely can, without mentioning any paperwork, to let you know and open your mind up and say, you know what? So you telling me I can't be successful or just as intelligent as you because you have a piece of paper, which means something, but to a certain extent that I can't hang with you intellectually. Goes back to the school system, right? And what they teach us goes back to society, and what they teach us goes back to our financial difficulties, bro. It's a domino effect. We can't get no money, quote unquote, because we ain't got no paperwork. But nobody's teaching us that we can still make money without paperwork. Nobody taught us how to do it. So it's like paperwork or die. college or 9 to 5, struggle all my life. Come on, bro, that's trash. And we need to start promoting that, you know, that self-reliance, you know, being self-reliant, because, man, it's hard. Like you said, it's hard getting your foot in the door sometime after college, man. That shit, like, you graduate college, whoop-de-whoop, everything will be good. Man, hell no. You going to have a 40K, 30K debt. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a job or a career yet. You got to go apply that knowledge you got. So if you bullshit it, excuse my language, fellas, with your time in college, you got your paperwork, but you ain't got the skill. A skill is not paperwork. Paperwork's skill. It's two different things. So you gotta throw your skill in there first before that paperwork say anything. Because for real, we have teachers right now, call them paperwork teachers, man. They got their degree, you know, top schools in the nation. Come to a school, they like, man, I graduated from such and such. My paperwork valid. I passed all my state boards, tests, all whoop-de-whoop. Man, this gonna be great. And coming there, be ready to quit the first day. You know what I'm saying? Having nervous breakdowns the first day. They can't handle it. You know why? You was only taught enough to get past a paper test. You never applied it. Now you fail.
That's why I'm like extremely grateful to the fact that I had internships. You know, I wasn't just throwing out here with just book smart. You know, I got a chance to actually apply that to like in the field to go out there.
In the field.
I'm gonna lead an exercise class. I'm gonna give you exercise recommendation. I'm gonna write a plan, actually get feedback on a plan. Like all that stuff matters because may I have the knowledge, that's great. But if I cannot apply the knowledge to people when I actually got to do it, I'm no better than the person that don't know nothing about it.
Put it in the casket, man. Put your knowledge in the casket if you can't apply it, man. It's dead knowledge.
No use at all. Like again, I can say like my mom, she's an exercise guru. So like talking with her, exercise, she knows just as much as I know about exercise. If not, it's a few gaps of some things, but for her, it's like she knows everything I'm talking about. So I can't just go off the book with her. I actually got to be able to talk about exercise. What can we do? What can we really do with these things? And, you know, I don't know about everybody else's mother, but, you know, when I give my mother approval, it means the world because that means you actually can apply to people. And teachers, and Tylic being a teacher, is like, it only gets you past the test. Like,
that's it.
Teaching kids isn't easy. It isn't easy. I've been a youth training camp. I did it with Malcolm a couple of years ago. Working with kids, some of the hardest stuff ever. You actually got to be a kid to teach a kid. It don't make sense, but it makes sense.
When you see a grown man beat his head on the side of the wall during the middle of class and have a nervous breakdown because he can't handle some little boys and little girls, paperwork certified 10 plus years, first time at a Title I school, them struggle kids, them knuckleheads, you know what I'm saying, break in the middle of school. This is a true story. Imagine seeing a 40-year-old man bang his head on the wall because he just lost. Like he just lost. Smart as hell. Can't apply it. Done. Boom. You can't apply it, dog. It's dead. You know what I'm saying? You know, we gotta put that in motion. You can't put it in motion, bro. We finna be broke all our life. We finna be illiterate all our life. We could be just lost out here in the world. And people like us, because this is a gym session right here. You know, energies like this, you can't pay for energy like this. Yeah. This is what you're supposed to learn in college. We learned this on who in school right now? Y'all in school? No, I think it look like y'all in y'all living room right now. You know what I'm saying? I think you in your kitchen right now. You know what I'm saying? You feel me, bro? You see where I'm going with this? This how we do it right here. Who teaching us how to do this?
It's all about passing knowledge.
Iron sharpens iron. Come on, bro.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Malcolm, Monte, PJ, y'all want to add on to the things of testing?
Yeah, PJ, you can go ahead. I'll go after you.
I ain't really got much to say about standardized testing. I mean, I've never really been a fan of it. I feel like at the end of the day, it doesn't really do what it's intended to do, which is track progress. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people aren't good test takers at the end of the day. Like Ira said, you got an A in the course and you fill that standardized test and they ready to send you back. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot riding on these standardized tests that shouldn't be riding at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a bar, cuz. That is a bar.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like you can use a standardized test, but it shouldn't be a life or death situation for a lot of these kids. At the end of the day, like I said, a lot of people just aren't good test takers. They may have some situations going on while they're taking the test. They just can't focus. You know, at the end of the day, we don't really need them. And, you know, that's just my take on. That's always been my take on standardized tests since I was even in high school. I just never really understood what the point of me taking this test was if I got an A in the course. Because at the end of the day, if I don't do well in this test and I'm not a good test taker, they're gonna hold me back. So I think it's pretty counterproductive if you ask me. But that's my take on the standardized test.
I can speak from experience. Apparently, I was actually. Well, first I want to say like I noticed like so as I was in the process of getting my master's. A lot of schools I noticed that a lot of schools are actually like starting to actually not require what they call a GRE or GMAT, which is like the graduate test that you have to take to get into these programs. And what I noticed is that a lot of schools are actually not requiring these tests. And I think that's a good thing because what I think a lot of these admissions office are starting to realize is that you have kids coming in, who you accept that takes these tests and they may have the test may be horrible, but they come in and they some of the best students you could get because of the skills that they have, right? And for me, like I'm not a good test taker at all. Like I hate standardized tests. It's just not my thing. When I came to Mason, I actually was put on the wait list to go to Mason, and I don't know why. Probably my SAT score, whatever that test I had to take, I was on the wait list, and that score was bad. But when I got into Mason, after they put me on the wait list, I got in. I was like a good student. So and that doesn't say exactly, and that goes like to what is a good student. I think it's really depending on you. Like, what do you make? How do you consider like what is good, what is great? And standardized test doesn't define that. It's not a depth. Like there's literally people who are scared to go to graduate school, to go to college because of this test. Like they realize like, yo, if I don't do my best on this test, like I won't get in. But one thing that I'm starting to realize is that it's really about selling yourself. And it goes back to what Tylic said. It's about selling yourself. Like when these schools give you options of writing personal statements, I know we all probably have to write a personal statement. That's really a perfect time to tell your story. Like my English teacher, he was the person that really guided me through college, guided me through all my application process. My mom, she really didn't because she really didn't have that knowledge. She was like, okay, well, you got to go to college. Like, what you going to do? And I started preparing for college my 11th grade year. So yes, I take the SAT and all that other stuff, but I was like, damn, like this is the big test I have to like. But in reality, once I was told the importance of like selling yourself and telling your story, once you could tell your story to these people and these admissions offices and whatever the case may be, guess what? There's an emotional attachment they're gonna have to you, and they're gonna be like, yo, this person, I can feel exactly what they went through. I can understand. Because they want you to tell a story exactly why wasn't high school the best for you or why wasn't that the best for you. You sell that story to them 100%. Guess what? You're gonna get into that school more like 95% of the chance. If everything else, even if your test scores aren't the best, 95% of the time, if you can sell yourself in that personal statement and tell them exactly why you should get in that school, guess what? You're gonna get in. Obviously, you may have competition, but guess what? There's competition everywhere. You do what you got to do and you'll probably get into that school because I didn't think I was gonna get into Mason. I was like, okay, well, next I have another option. But it's all about selling yourself, and I think standardized testing is starting to go away. And I think, like I said, admissions officers are starting to realize like these tests shouldn't define people. Obviously, there's a lot of these top schools that are still, I would say, having discussions about that. But I think we're starting to see a digression of those tests, and even for high schools. Kids that's going to college, like those tests are starting not to become required as much. But I think sooner or later, like we're gonna get to a point probably within the next 3 to 4 years where I think standardized tests is not gonna become a thing. Like I even like on the high school level, I know I went to a DC public school and we had this thing called the DC CAS. Obviously, we took it, but I know it wasn't a thing where it like held this back or anything. It was like, okay, well, I think my teachers knew, and teachers in DC kind of know like some of these kids aren't like good test takers, so it wasn't like we're going to hold you back or not. It was okay, well, how can we better you? Like, what is it that's stopping you from, succeeding in that class or whatever? So I really think it goes back to First, I want to say I'm glad that schools are now starting to take those away because I think it's not a true definition of a kid's a brain, how they wired, and I also think that it's on the teachers that's in these school systems and what they're getting to preach to these kids like, hi, if you really want to go to college, here's the way you can do it without you being scared. Because they're truly kids who hate tests, who don't want to take them, but they forced to, and it kind of give them a bubble of like, yo, I don't know if I'm a pass or not, and if I don't, like, school is like my only option. When reality is not. So it's kind of like giving people that mindset. And I think I just want to say from a personal standpoint of just looking, I think, you know, we're getting to a point where kids aren't gonna have to worry about standardized tests anymore, which is a good thing because it's really, like I said, it's not a true representation of what these kids are about, and it shouldn't define you. I think admissions officers are starting to realize that. So that's why now, like personal statement, like sell yourself to these people, because once you sell yourself, you got them on hold. You'll get in that, you'll get in the door 100%. If you want to go to your stop school, you sell yourself the right way. And if it's up and it's just the best, it's a good decision for you financially and all those other things, the schools give you the money, you got them, you got it right there. So that's what I want to say when it comes to standardized tests and things that I know is because I was going through the grad school process and I didn't want to go, and I may go just because I know there's certain experiences I can get that obviously, you know, working in sports, it's really not about the undergrad classes you take, because in those classes, I know PJ could speak to it, you don't really learn nothing that you really need to learn. They're just classes like that you just take. Like it's just writing intensive classes, and all the experience you get is going to come from who you know and the experience that you get while you're in college. So that's definitely what I want to say on that.
Man, let me speak on that too. That's another thing that I really don't like about the whole standardized test thing, even including the SATs. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the classes that we take in college are stuff that we learn in high school. You feel me? Especially early on, your first couple of years, you just learning stuff. You're just repeating stuff that you learned in high school already. So you really shouldn't have to take these standardized tests that ride. Well, your admission to college shouldn't ride on these standardized tests. You feel me? They should be off of, you know, your transcripts from high school, how you did your courses, you know, extracurriculars, things of that nature. They shouldn't be riding on this one score. At the end of the day, I feel like colleges don't accept a lot of kids based off the fact that their score just wasn't as high as another student, although they could have been overall better than the student that they accepted rather than them. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I just think that we should do away with them, period. You know, I mean, unless you're trying to go to this, you know, almighty Ivy League college that it's incredibly hard to get into anyways, at the end of the day, we should just do away with them. That's just my opinion with it. So
that's a fact, bro. Hey, man, I tell the people like that, man. Ivy League. I was looking at an interview on a Ivy League grad. You know, hey, I'm a doctorate degree, homeless, no house, no food, no clothes. So again, training the mind to unlearn the systematic way of living education and how education and financial literacy, just since we're speaking about financial literacy, but education, period, you know, what it really means and how, you know, what is the most important. Because, you know, Ivy League school, man, went to an Ivy League school, that's saying something, just you being there, you know, but when you see an Ivy League student, doctor, homeless, you say, man, hey, man, what went wrong, man? You went to an Ivy League school. It was destined for you to be at the top, period. Nah, bro. That ain't it. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, Marsh, y'all touching on some stuff.
Malcolm?
Man, I hate to be that guy, man. But I
love
think
people like you.
I see it a little bit differently. Like it's just, I mean, I've been a relatively all right test taker. I ain't, like I said, I'm not getting into Harvard or anything, but I've always been well because I think test that. And because some people, they see a test, they gonna break. I like competence. I prefer to be it that way. We can test that because that's probably to me, that is the most important organ you can use because some people will break, some people won't. But like I said, I understand exactly what all of y'all saying. It shouldn't be the end all be all, but I believe that they serve a purpose because best believe if we sitting here looking at if we have all of these criteria, and that's the one thing that separates me from you, I want to do better than you. That's just the truth about it. Because my first year of graduate school, and this shit fucked me up. My bad, TJ. And we had to take a standardized test, and there was a whole bunch of us Black Americans, but there were also some Haitians, there were some Nigerians, there were some people from Ghana. And we were sitting there talking. A lot of the people like me who share the same reality as Black Americans were talking. We hate standardized tests. We don't like standardized tests. But see, once they left out and a couple of the Nigerians, Haitians, and everybody were in the class, they were like, y'all don't like it. It's because of your culture. You know, we come here and we do well on the standardized test. Y'all are born in the country and we come here across from Africa and we do better than y'all. And the shit made me think, man. I said, they got a point. And I'm like saying, it won't just one, it won't just two people, it won't just three, it won't just four, it won't just five. It was a handful of people that made me question, what is it? But that's just
it goes back to what Tylic was saying. It's the education system here in America it's terrible. It's terrible. Like they don't like. I don't know what they learn in Africa. I don't know, so I can't speak on that. But if they can come over here and succeed with no efforts, obviously they're learning a lot. They're learning a lot of something that we aren't learning to help them succeed at these tests. Like it's a lot of gaps. Like PJ just said it. It's repetition. Like prime example, history class. Why am I learning about George Washington from first grade to 12th grade? It's the same thing. Algebra 2. Why am I taking 3 different algebra classes within 4 years? It's the same thing. It don't get much deeper. Why don't I learn? Why is this not just called algebra? Why can't I just learn everything I need to learn? Like, why am I learning why am I repeating that?
Right.
I don't repeat, like, it's no correlation. Like, how do you go from 8th grade to taking algebra to geometry to algebra 2 to trigonometry, then to calculus, stats, and all that great stuff, when most of the times the maths don't have a correlation? Like, why am I skipping a year from geometry to trigonometry? Like, it's not making sense. It's repetitive.
Right.
English language, writing tests. Like,
question, Michael, what you majoring in, like, grad school? Like, what's your graduate?
Public history. I want to go into museum curation. North Carolina Central in Durham, North Carolina.
Okay. All right. So I think I would say, like, and I've had those conversations with people too. There's a lot of people, I would say, who are from, like, different countries, and their first, like, because I went to Bill Multicultural High School. It's
You from where? You from?
I'm from DC. From DC.
What part you from?
Southeast, but I was raised in, like, Northwest, basically my childhood.
Southeast?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I be in Southeast. My family out Southeast.
Okay. So being in, like, a DC public school system and being in, like, especially a multicultural high school, I've had those same like, I've had like, one of my friends, his name is Abraham. He's not from here. But one thing about him, that he could take tests, get good grades on tests, good student. And I have, like, a whole bunch of multicultural friends who are not from here at all. And one thing about them, they do good in, like, the school. Like, they're good students, 4.0, 3.9 students, good students. And they do good on tests. And I've always asked, like, how, like, what is it? And I'm not the, like, I don't know. There's some tests I take in class, I'm like, yo, I do not understand this stuff. But when it comes to, like, English, like, whatever, English or math or, like, that type of stuff, I could do good English. Like, I can write. I'm a good writer. But there are certain tests, I don't know. I think it depends on, I think it goes back to how a person learns. Because I think sometimes the school system, it only and teachers too, I think they only sometimes tailor to one type of learning stuff. I think sometimes if we're talking about studying, I think there has to be more, like, multiple ways to get students to understand, because you may have some students, right? We all know the 3 different learning styles. You have visual, kinetic, and whatever. There's 3 type of learning styles. I forgot. There's 3, visual and something 2 other. I think
auditory.
And then I think sometimes, like, we have to I think sometimes like we have to have different people who could tailor to those different types of learning styles, because sometimes the school system doesn't tailor to all those type of learning styles. And I think sometimes it puts a strain, because that person may, okay, I could the way you're teaching, it makes so much sense. Like it makes, but another teacher could teach it differently. Like, yo, the way you taught this does not make any sense to me. So I think sometimes we may need in the school system, I think sometimes it's just diversifying how things are taught to people to make understand. Because I had an English teacher, two different types of English teacher. One who taught things so well to me, it made so much sense, like writing and all that good type of stuff, and really comprehending things. And I had another teacher who wasn't the best at it, but you know, there are some students who her style tailored to us. So I really think it's about diversifying how we teach things to different people when it comes to school. But because I think, you know, do I like standardized testing? No. Do I? But in some ways, like you said, like now you put it, I think it can test you, but it can't test you. It could test you mentally and things like that. But like you said, like it's something that mentally it puts a fear in people's heads. Like, yo, they already have that mindset. Like, yo, yep. I'm not a good test taker. Like I've said that myself. Like, yo, I'm not a good test taker. But somehow, some way, you know, to me, what may be a bad test, to me, like you may be a good test. So I think it's like it's a training. Like I feel like you can train people to be a good test taker, just like you can train somebody to be a good.
Robotic.
Huh?
It's robotic. I said it's robotic. Sometimes it's robotic for people, you know, to be good at tests. I get what Malcolm was saying when he was like, bro, go test. You have to put your skills to the test, but you're only putting those skills to the test on paper, dog. Meaning it's only on paper.
100%.
It's only just standardized test period. Look at this Nipsey Hussle. I'm a big Nipsey Hussle fan. Not one because his music, and second because the education he has. What is education? It goes back to what is education.
So like,
if you listen to his music or his interviews, he's always talking about financial literacy. Pete, bro, he didn't graduate high school. He didn't take no standardized test, bro. You can take your standardized test and it's going to test you mentally. It is going to test you. But a standardized test, bro, you can remember. It's a remembering test. You know, it's to a certain extent. You only do it to a certain extent. How you go take what you use
and apply it to a real world?
The standardized test and use it in the real world. You could be a great test taker. That shit don't mean nothing. It means that you got tested. Boom. You get your paperwork. All right, the next level, which is the level that matters the most, applying your knowledge.
I want to say this. People say knowledge is power. That's dead. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power, because we can have all the knowledge in the world about certain things, but if we don't apply the knowledge, then what are we doing? What are we doing? Because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, it's just at this point, it's like I have this knowledge, but how can I apply it? Like I have the skills, like you have all the skills you need. Like people may have like all the skills they need for a job, but they don't know how to apply those skills. So yes, I have all these now. I can be an engineer, the best engineer in the world. I know how to break things down, put them together. I could work in mechanics. I can do this, that, and third. But if I'm not able to apply these skills and I don't know how to use these skills in real life situations, then what is the point of everything I learned? And I think that, you know, we have to get better at applying what we know. But I also think it goes back to, we need to be able to get a chance to show what we know. I think it's all connected. Because if you know people, guess what? If you know people, and you know, like, yo, if you can say, like, let's say I know PJ and PJ works for a general manager and I want to be a video coordinator. PJ know, like, yo, I've seen Vontae. I know that he can do video.
Personal standpoint. He knows you can do it.
Yeah. Like if PJ like seeing like this, it goes back to social capitalism. Yeah. Like if PJ know, like, all right, I know Vontae can do some video work. Guess what? Let me take a chance on him. And so you can apply it. But if people aren't willing to like take a chance on somebody, then it's like, damn, but everything goes back to what we talked about in the beginning. Social capitalism. If you don't know nobody, if you don't know nobody, if you don't network, if you don't network your tail off, what you get, that piece of paper, and because there's two different types of education. There's the education in the classrooms, but there's the education that you get from these like internships and these skills, so that you can take those skills and use them and apply them. But it's all about, I think at the end of the day, it's about social capitalism. It's about how we, I would say, how we use our knowledge and like the things that we really feel like is valuable, and then you go from there. But to me, I think social capital is something that's not as talked about as much, and I think people are afraid to use it. Like if you say, "Look, I know somebody that can help you," and you don't take that chance and even reach out to them, it's like, damn, okay, it's like people, everything is connected. College, standard, all this stuff is connected in some type of way, and we're like really breaking it down to where it's really it's simple. Like us spinning this word, it's complex, but there's ways for us to make it simple on us so that we can get the chance that we need. It's all about us all coming together and using our minds and what we know to help one another. And I think that's something that's not being enforced as possible, because there's a mindset shift, a mindset that people don't have. And I feel like we have to have these type of conversations so that we can have them. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be able to do what they love. Because if you do what you love, it's not a job. If you truly do what you love, it's not a job. But people aren't able to do what they love because there are certain things that they might have gotten a chance to do, or they may not have done in college, and now they're making up for those things after they graduate or whatever the case may be. So that's how I feel about just kind of connecting everything because like the standardized test and all that things, it's all connecting in some type of way, shape, or form, and we're like breaking it down. So that's all I wanted to say on that.
So, which test is the realest test? Which test outweighs which one weighs the most?
I think applicable testing.
You said what?
Applicable. I think when you applicable testing. So I think in the sense that
what's applicable testing? Like how would you?
So like, all right. So
how would you measure? Like how would you measure applicable testing? Like,
all right. So let's say
do it.
Yeah. So like let's say you tell me. Let's say for example, I'm a hiring manager, and you say, yo, Vontae, I feel like I'm a personal trainer, and I want to help your. I feel like I can bring some business, or I want to work with your team. Okay, guess what? All right, I'm gonna hire you. Off the fact, number one, I know you, and number two, you told me and you showed me like, yo, I can do this. Guess what? I'm gonna say, all right, Ivor, you say you can do this, and obviously you don't have an assistant along your journey, but I want to see like what you know. I'm gonna take a chance on you, and I think that's the biggest thing is that the testing that in the class sometimes it doesn't matter because it's like I can take all these writing tests and all that other stuff that doesn't matter. And some people majors it does, but for a lot of people majors it doesn't matter at all. And you take that they need to take the real world. These real world skills, these skills that they're learning and they're getting from these internships and applying them to like and being able to get the chance. Most people, they have the skills in their majors, but they're not really able to apply them. And I think that's something that, because experience matters. People say experience matters and who you know matters. And we all can speak to that in some type of way. Because if you don't know nobody, like I said, you're not going to get it. But I think people need to be able to show that they can apply. If you can't apply what you know and you have experience doing it and you can't apply it, then and ultimately, let's be real. And I've given you a month or 30 days, 60, 90 days for you to show me you apply your skills and you're not applying them. And it's like, okay, well, and now it's not on me as a person prior. Now it's on you to say, okay, I need to at least sharpen up my skills at the end of the day. Because I think it's about applying what you know. Like I'm getting more experience in video work. So guess what? When this time comes around next year, I've learned what I learned, and guess what? I can go ahead and apply. I can go to the next position and elevate myself to be able to do a little bit more. So I think it's all about applicable testing. Can you apply the stuff that you learned in your internships or not? If you can't, it's not.
I 100% agree. Like I said, and in this field that I'm in, applying what you know is,
and it's
important.
Like
it's the gold standard. If you can't apply what you know in this field that I'm in, man, I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna pray for you.
But are we learning to work for others, or are we learning to work for ourselves? That's a whole different type of education. Are we learning to work for others? Or are we learning to work for ourselves? Are we learning to work in our field, or are we learning to own our field? It's levels to this,
levels. And I want to touch on that too. So I think us all right, cool. We understand that we have to grow, right? You have to grow. But it's for us, right? To be in positions of power to where now we can start bringing our own people in. Because guess what? I look at it as like, okay, yeah, I'm working and I love what I do. But anyway, I want to be able to get to a point where now I can have an effect on bringing people who look like me into this. Because first, there's not many people of us that look like this in the sports field. Obviously, the players, but there are different roles that, even in a lot of the field, there's not people that look like us. So it's our job to, okay, I understand I have to put a couple years in, or whatever the case may be, but because I want to elevate, but at the same time, I'm looking to be in a position of power so that I can bring people that look like me in and eventually get the money I need and all that things to where I can do something for all these kids, all these low income people, all these college kids that want to get a chance. Because a lot of these people, they won't take a chance on you. So it's about, I think, having that mentality of like, I want to be able to help people that look just like me and get them in the door and help them grow. And so they see, because it's all about passing down what you know. If you know everything I know, now it's on you to go ahead and apply what the knowledge that I done gave you. That's how I look at it.
That's
then the thing that last two things I want to get to here is, there's going to be a two-part question. Is it the parents' responsibility to fill in these gaps, and what's the first thing you'd like to see change in the education system? I'm gonna go ahead and get my spiel out the way. But first, I think it's 50-50. I think the education system is there for a reason, and it should be built to educate those that go through it to be able to succeed in life in all facets and forms. But I also feel it's important for the parents to know the skills that their kids are learning, because a double dose is better than a single dose, and that can go anywhere and everywhere you take it. Athletics, in the classroom, even I had 3 internships. Having multiple professionals talking with multiple is better than just talking to one for 4 consecutive years. It's because everybody knows something different. Everybody did something different. Nobody lives the same exact life. So each and every person you interact with, and this goes back to the networking, they can provide you a different piece of the puzzle to complete the puzzle. But, for me, though, the first thing I really want to see change is what I said when we started off was the financial skills. I feel like you should learn about definitely budgeting, investing, or credit. One of the 3 things in high school. If budgeting and credit, I'll be okay with that, because those 2 things I think are really important, because in order to own those nice things in life, you got to have a good credit score. And in order to get a good credit score, you got to know how to budget. And they go hand in hand.
I would say, so in terms of your first question, is it the parents' responsibility or the school system? I would honestly say it's kind of both, but I would put more of it on school system. But I wouldn't say school system. I would say, so how would break this down? In terms of the parents, I think parents know as much. So parents can give you as much game as they can give you. When it comes to financial literacy or whatever the case may be, because I feel like they went through a lot of experiences. For us not to make the same mistakes as they made. So I feel like they're passing on game. I feel like parents are constantly getting educated. Like my mom is constantly still getting educated, and I feel like most parents should make the goal to get educated, and I feel like it's a working relationship, because my mom passes me on game, and I pass my mom on game to help her and to better her, and even older people in general. But I also think it does fall on the school system as well. In the aspect of that, I think there are certain things that they know outside of the classroom that can help us. I think me being in high school and having close relationships with a lot of my teachers, there were certain things that we didn't even talk about. To be real, like a lot of after class, like I went to after school or whatever in high school, whatever. I played sports and all that other stuff. But when it comes to we had actual real world conversations. So a whole financials, the budget and all that type of stuff, I kind of got a head start on that in high school because of the fact that obviously all my teachers went to college and stuff like that, and we kind of like talked about those different types of things, and they bring different type of people in. So I think it falls on a little bit of both. But to me, in reality, I think that it's a relationship aspect, and I'm not going to be too long on this because I think that if I have a good relationship with a teacher, I understand that me and that teacher is close to where there's just certain questions. I think it's all about asking the right questions. If I ask the right questions, I may get the answer that I know because I had personal relations with my teachers, and my teachers was able like to kind of give me game on certain things that my mom wasn't able to. So, and that's why I feel like I did what I did in college. Like I was able to graduate and just move a different way in college than what most people are. So I think it really just depends on like it just falls on both, and it also depends on you as well. Like, are you seeking out knowledge? Are you asking the right questions to the right people? Because I feel like teachers have a lot of knowledge, but if you don't come to them with questions outside of class, then it's kind of like, okay, well, they're a teacher in there, but if you take it beyond, I know we all kind of had those teachers, or probably did. I had those teachers where it was kind of more just a teacher that was kind of like a mentor, and I know I'm grateful that I've been able to have my high school teachers still to this day stay in contact with me and help me out when I can. So I feel like it's both, and I feel like it's on us as well to, as high school, seniors, juniors, need to like start asking those questions, because those conversations come up. And being in a household, if you're a low income parent, about money, it's like if you have a good relationship with that teacher, I feel like, hey, why not open up to them? You never know what you may get in return, or what you may receive, because at the end of the day, they're trying to help us in some type of way. And even if they don't help you in the classroom, they can always give you life game and help you out to better yourself.
So I think it's on both, teachers and the educational system and our parents. I agree when he said parents gonna give you as much as they can. At the end of the day, they got a lot of other stuff to take care of as well, but they also along the way gonna teach you what you need to know. Like Ira said, he learned a lot of stuff from his mom. He applying what he learned from his mother into his life now. They're gonna teach you what they can, but at the end of the day, we have to go to school. We have to go to high school. They make us. So at the end of the day, they got to change a lot of things about curriculums in the system to teach us about what's really important. We shouldn't be out here learning about stuff that we don't need to be learning about. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I mainly put on, like I said, the curriculum. I would love to see that change, because at the end of the day, we are learning stuff that we do not need to be learning, I think.
Yes,
so,
sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, like Vontae said, your parents will give you as much as they can. But it's really up to, the education system that we have to be a part of to really teach us what we need to know. You feel me? So that's all I got to say on it.
Broken record. Yeah, I agree with all of y'all, man.
Well, I think it's like really 100 on both ends, school system and at home, because who says the home doesn't have more knowledge than the school system curriculum? We gotta look at that. Like Derek Grace teaches kids from home. He has his own curriculum. He's a multi-millionaire, almost billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Who said that the knowledge at home isn't better than the knowledge at school? But it all depends, though. But it takes a village. Systematic or traditionally, I ain't gonna say systematically. Traditionally, you learn most of your morals
at home,
and you learn more of your technical skills at school. But being a teacher at school, I'm teaching technical skills of what I'm teaching, but my morals have to show. My morals have to back up what I'm teaching. You know what I'm saying? So it got to be 100. The parents got to go in 100%. The school system got to go in 100%, because, man, coming from a teacher, some people send their kids from home and they want us to teach them their morals.
Everything.
They want us to teach, like, we raising kids, like, we're really, really raising kids. And to be honest, I love what I do. I know Mr. Brooks said, man, if you find something you love to do, you'll never go to work again. So when I go do these things, I'm not working, but still, though, like, I'm putting in work. Like, you got to put in that work as a teacher. You got to go, actually, you got to put that moral within what you teach anyway. Because if you can't translate why I'm teaching you this and use it for the real world, it don't even matter. So we got to come together. A school is just a building. A school is just a building. You can learn anywhere. You can't forget the community. So now that's what a community is. School, society, and home. It's under one umbrella. That's what a community is. Like, it's just our community, then home or then school. It's all within, it's all within each other. You know what I'm saying? Faculty means we talking about poverty. The poverty of the demographics of where we living at, where I'm living at. They have nothing to do with technical learning, like a subject learning, but we have to bring that in. That's within the community. So we all got to come together. So 100-100, we can't even go 50-50. But I know what you meant, though, brother. Don't even take that. I know what you meant. But yeah.
And I think, I just want to touch one thing before we kind of end this. I think at the end of the day, like, I feel like it's getting, like, so people can, like, I know a lot of schools think, we have people that, we want people to go to college and all this other stuff, but I also think it's training them in the sense of, like you said, it goes back to what you said. I feel like teachers, like, I know for me, like, I know some people, not as me, to where I like to ask a lot of questions. I think you have to ask the right questions. And I think I put a little bit on us as students, because my teachers in college, they could teach me all they want, but I'm asking them, I'm going to their office like, yo, who do you know that can help me? Like, who is in your circle that you can help me? And to be completely honest, right? I've had professors where it's like, okay, I know this person, I can get you in contact with this person. But since I've graduated, I've talked to more people at my specific program out of Mason, and that has helped me in some type of way. I stay in communication with a lot of people at Mason now that I've graduated, but it's having those conversations. And if you can get your foot in the door, I don't mind pushing higher, but if you can get as a Black man, like, shout out to you, Tylic, because you're in higher education, you're working with these students directly, and it's a big step. And I know you probably want to see more people like you within teaching, because I know that being in a DC public school or in these schools where it's mostly kids that look like us, if they see more people that look like us, guess what? The relationships is gonna be a lot better. The conversation is gonna be a lot better. And so now it's like,
gotta have it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that person looks just like me. He probably comes from a background where I come from. And now you can sit down after class and have those real conversations. So if we get more people that look like us and in schools, because obviously we need schools, like, in a way that can teach some of these kids the mores and teach the mores and help them the technical skills. I feel like some of these kids will probably want to be in school, because now they're learning, okay, they may be learning stuff they may not want to learn, but guess what? It's enjoyable for them to come to school, because guess what? They see some of these teachers as mentors that can have those real conversations. So I just want to give a shout out to you, because, seeing you in the education system and seeing you work with these kids and in the way that you do, it's amazing. And I know that we're going to see more people like that. It's just all about taking time and educating people on what they can do, because education is powerful. And if you got people that are like us in the school systems and educating young African Americans, and it can go a long way. And these conversations will just change over the course of time, and we'll look back and say, damn, that was necessary. So that's what I want to say. And if you got anything else you can add, but that's all I want to say.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. We hit on everything. I think we covered all the gaps and all the things we want to see as a whole in child education, and as Tylic said, even in adult education as well. That's pretty much all I have. Shout out to Tylic for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. It's good to have somebody from the hometown on the show as always. They don't know about the 434, but
they don't know about Prince Edward County, man. Prince Edward County, man. Hey, nationwide, University Board of Education, they took the Black people education. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to read my uncle his mail. He taught me how to be a man. He didn't know how to read or write up till now. That's where we from nationwide. Black history. So when we talk about education, we stand on that. I stand on that. Like, it's a mouthful that I didn't say, or, we didn't say, I'm pretty sure, but, like, Prince Edward County, man. People say Farmville, man, you from Farmville? Ha. No, there's no games. There's nothing funny about being from this area. Go do the research. So us as Black men, being from Prince Edward County, where the The only state, the only small, this big, bro. As small as one of the smallest counties in America, probably. We're the only county that segregated black and white schools and shut the black schools down. That's a fact. Look it up. So yeah, it's stiff down here.
Yep, definitely remember learning about that. Farmville High School. Definitely looked that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of all we got for y'all guys. You know, I appreciate if you tuned in. You know, continue to tune in. You know, the topics will only get better from here on out. I know I shouldn't introduce Vontae being that it's 46, but you know, I might release it early. Who knows? I don't know. There's no number count on these episodes. I put it down to give me something to release it off how I feel. But you know, again, like I said, shout out to everybody showing up. And you know, as always, this is your host Ira signing off. Vontae, PJ, Malcolm as always, and see y'all soon.
Peace, Kings.
You love singing.